Hi everyone, I'm Joyce. Today is Sunday, December 13th, 2020, and I am here to read again another portion of Dr. Fuhrman's book, Eat for Life, about nutritarianism. I have to say right off, I am having some trouble. I'm having some trouble with overeating and what Brooke Castillo calls over desire. When I eat, I want to eat a lot, past the point that I know I'm full. I've eaten enough, and I just want to keep eating. I want to taste more food, and that doesn't make biological sense. You know, when your body has had enough fuel, it's had enough fuel. You should stop eating. So I don't know what's behind that. Something psychological. I've been taking notes on it. Maybe I'll uncover it. Maybe I won't. I hope I do, because it's hard to struggle with this. I'd rather not struggle with it. And if I could figure out why it is that I want to do that, then, that's something that I can address. And then I won't have to worry about it anymore. I just won't even think about it anymore. And the desire as well. I'll come home from somewhere. For example, this weekend, I went and got a freezer. Brought it home, came in, did a few things, and went to use the bathroom, and I was like, oh, what can I eat? Well, I wasn't hungry. Why was I thinking about eating something? So anyway, that is difficult for me. I did give in to my desire tonight. I had already eaten. I had a big salad, and I still wanted to eat. Doug mentioned that he was planning on going to town to get a pizza, and I was thinking, I want some of that pizza. I'm like, I don't need any. I'm full. I know I'm full, but I really wanted the pizza. And although, it's not right to give in at all, I did give in, and instead of waiting and choosing pizza, I had one of Dr. Fuhrman's G-Bombs bars. So I don't know. I kind of figured if I'm not going to do this right, I'm at least going to eat healthy food. That still doesn't address why I have this desire, why I want to eat food when my body doesn't need it. But anyway, that's what I've been dealing with lately. So at the end of the video, I will share what I ate today, and I think I've got a recipe or two for one or two of the things that I ate today. So I'll include those as well. And I will get right into the reading now. In chapter 1, this section is called Slow Metabolism is Linked to Longevity. When we use the word metabolism, we are usually referring to resting metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy or calories that the body requires per day for its basic functions at rest. Most people believe that it is desirable to raise their metabolism because they will burn more calories and consequently lose weight. Having a slightly lower resting metabolic rate is thought to predispose some individuals to weight gain, especially in our obesogenic culture, that is, a food environment that leads to obesity. However, there are unfavorable consequences to running your body at faster than normal speed, and raising your metabolism is not the key to weight loss. The chemical reactions of normal everyday functioning produce byproducts. In particular, cellular energy production produces reactive oxygen species, or ROS, as a byproduct, which can damage DNA, proteins, and lipids. Although we have natural antioxidant defenses, oxidative damage can still occur, especially if we don't take in adequate antioxidants from our diet. Oxidative damage accelerates aging. In other words, the rate of living slowly wears out your cellular machinery. So if we function at a faster rate, that is, with a faster metabolism, the body will wear out more quickly. In animals, energy expenditure is indeed inversely related to lifespan. A faster metabolic rate means faster energy turnover and greater production of free radicals, which leads to increased oxidative damage and more potential for disease. Human studies measuring resting metabolic rate directly come to the same conclusion. In one, metabolic rate was measured by two different methods at the start of the study. Subjects were followed for 11 to 15 years, and deaths from natural causes were recorded. Researchers observed that for each 100-calorie increase in 24-hour resting metabolic rate, the risk of premature death increased by 25 to 29%. Resting metabolic rate is partially genetically determined, but we can control our calorie intake. Caloric restriction and mild negative energy balance have been shown to reduce resting metabolic rate, and in contrast, overeating increases resting metabolic rate. Furthermore, caloric restriction has been consistently shown to prolong maximal lifespan by up to 60% in animals. Keep in mind that although exercise raises total calorie expenditure, it does not raise the body's basal metabolism, that is, the number of calories needed to meet your energy expenditure at rest. Exercise is the only safe way to raise metabolism because it activates the peripheral tissues to utilize more calories and increases muscle mass, which in turn increases total calorie expenditure. It has been shown that exercise promotes longevity. The goal is to eat so healthfully that your desire to overeat is reduced, as well as your metabolism a bit. You will comfortably desire less food without getting too thin. My nutritarian recommendations actually make you feel more satisfied with less food and give you the ability to enjoy food more without overeating. Studies support what I have said here. Having a fast metabolism does not mean that you are healthier. In fact, it means that you are aging more quickly. Instead of trying to increase your metabolism with thermogenic stimulants such as green tea, caffeine, herbs, and medicines to aid weight loss, try to slow your metabolism and become slim with a lower calorie, high nutrient diet for a longer, healthier life. I need to pause for a second. Okay, the next section is 3 factors most powerfully slow aging. The trifecta to slow aging is a nutritarian diet, which is rich in phytochemicals along with moderate calorie restriction and exercise. These 3 factors slow all the processes associated with biological aging. When your body fat is lower and you do not overeat, your metabolism slows a bit. And as we have just seen, a slower metabolism is one of the components of aging more slowly. Judging from the current trends of popular diets, such as paleo, ketogenic, and others, most Americans are inappropriately trying to raise their metabolism so they can eat more food and not gain weight. The secret to the real fountain of youth, however, is to moderately lower your metabolism so you can comfortably eat less food and not get too thin. When we eat somewhat less and stay slim, our body temperature lowers, our respiratory quotient, calories burned via breathing, decreases, and even our thyroid slows. Consequently, the body does not need as many calories and does not become too thin with a moderately lower caloric intake. Together, these three metabolic modulations, moderately slower thyroid hormone production, respiratory quotient, and body temperature, effectively slow the aging process in all body systems. In particular, the mild reduction in thyroid function is a well-studied but otherwise unknown health span and lifespan asset. For example, a recent study reported that low to normal thyroid function was associated with 3.5 years of extra life and a decreased incidence of cardiovascular disease. While it is well known that abnormally high thyroid activity or giving a bit too much thyroid hormone to treat low thyroid function increases the risk of irregular heartbeat, it is not generally known that higher thyroid activity with blood results in the high range of normal significantly increases heart attacks and sudden cardiac death, even in people not taking any thyroid medication. Furthermore, a study presented at a 2018 American Heart Association scientific session confirmed earlier studies showing a 40% increased risk of atrial fibrillation with higher thyroid activity, even within the normal range. Since people with atrial fibrillation are 5 times as likely to have a stroke, one could accurately say that eating less and eating right decreases the risk of stroke by lowering the risk of atrial fibrillation, as it lowers the metabolic rate and slows the thyroid a bit. A faster metabolism does not just age you faster, it also increases your risk of stroke, heart attack, cancer, and overall mortality. By balancing the mild drop in metabolism that naturally occurs as we age with bodybuilding and osteoporosis preventing exercises, we can maintain muscle mass and muscle strength as we grow older. The art of maximally pushing the envelope of health span and lifespan involves maintaining a slim body with lower body fat throughout life, while striving to maintain sufficient muscle and bone strength as we age. Exercise is the only safe way to enhance the utilization of calories by the body, as it does not accelerate aging unless done to excess. Excuse me. Americans miss out on at least 10 years of healthy life. The life expectancy in the United States is approximately 81 for women and 76 for men. However, healthy life expectancy is estimated to be 70 and 67, respectively. This means that on average, Americans spend the last 10 years of their lives in a state of poor health in which they are unable to live a full quality life. I think I missed that. Okay, I'm going to read this paragraph over. The life expectancy in the United States is approximately 81 for women and 76 for men. However, healthy life expectancy is estimated to be 70 and 67, respectively. That means that on average, Americans spend the last 10 years of their lives in a state of poor health in which they are unable to live a full quality life. Blue zones are areas in the world that have produced cultures whose members live the longest. The diets in these regions all share similar traits. They are high in plant-based foods and extremely low in animal products. As a result, in these locations, people eat more homegrown vegetables and legumes and generally have longer lifespans. Typically, they have a higher percentage of centenarians, who are individuals who live past the age of 100. It is important to note that the dietary patterns in blue zones were not methodically designed on the basis of a comprehensive review of more than 25,000 nutritional studies, as is the case here with the nutritarian diet. Instead, they represent the availability of foods in that particular area. The diets in the blue zones are the diets in the blue zones are life-enhancing for sure, but they are not optimal. The reason is because they have not been designed to be as nutritionally complete or micronutrient diverse as a nutritarian diet. Comparing diets from various regions and evaluating their health-promoting effects is useful, but a nutritarian diet is different in that it takes the dietary practices from the blue zones a step further. It utilizes the important lessons learned from the blue zones in conjunction with the most important recent scientific discoveries on aging, lifespan, and the power of particular foods and food ingredients to protect against cancer and later life cellular senescence, which is or deterioration, that leads to premature aging and chronic disease. A nutritarian approach improves upon the blue zone diets, making it even more lifespan favorable. A good example is one of my longtime patients, and I'm going to screw up his name, I'm sure, John Polakowski. John came to me in 1994 with triple vessel coronary artery disease and was taking multiple medications to control his blood pressure. John's cardiologist had just recommended a stent placement at age 72. I persuaded John not to have the stent placed and instead to follow the nutritarian program. He did so and reversed his heart condition, normalized his stress test, and resolved his high blood pressure and cholesterol, thus getting off all his medications. He is alive today and thriving without the need for these medications or cardiologists at age 98. A more well-known example is Scott Nearing, who wrote with his wife Helen the 1954 book Living the Good Life: How to Live Sanely and Simply in a Troubled World. Scott and Helen lived on their homestead in Maine, growing almost all their own food. He celebrated his 100th birthday in 1983 and gracefully passed away soon after. Helen lived into her 90s and passed away after a car accident. Taking advantage of modern nutritional science, which is not available to blue zones, enables the potential for an extended health span and lifespan. Not only can we design a more optimal menu, but in the wealthier areas of the world, because of modern transportation and refrigeration, we have all year access to fresh vegetables, leafy greens, sprouts, frozen berries, nuts, seeds, onions, and fresh and dried mushrooms. Simply put, we have a range of health-promoting anti-cancer foods that was not available to our ancestors or in most blue zones today. Most importantly, people in the blue zones eat more vegetables but do not generally eat a sufficient amount of green cruciferous vegetables, which is the most powerful longevity-promoting food. I need to pause again. So that's where I'm going to stop reading for tonight. What I ate today, I had breakfast. I had Dr. Fuhrman's banana nut muffin oatmeal. It's a recipe. I made it myself, but it's a recipe that he mentions in his 10 in 20 program. I had that this morning. I was very full afterwards. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I still wanted more. I still wanted more. It did taste really, really good. It was good. I was very full, and yet I still wanted to eat. Anyway, I had that for breakfast. And then for dinner, let me think. Okay, for dinner, I had tomato soup left over from last night. That was Dr. Fuhrman's creamy tomato soup. I did not have the pasta in it this time. I had the soup by itself. And then I also made a salad. Big salad. I made it a fruit salad, which I don't think he normally recommends. I have to go through the protocol again. Actually, for salad, yeah, he says it should always have tomatoes and onions and a cruciferous vegetable. Well, it had I did have cabbage in it, which is a cruciferous vegetable. I had the tomato soup, so maybe that counts. There was no onion in it. Maybe in the tomato soup there's onion. I don't remember. But anyway, I had fruit salad. And again, I'll put those recipes in the description below. The salad wasn't really a recipe, but I'll give you an idea of what I had in it. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did give in to my desire to eat more, even though I was full, and I had one of Dr. Fuhrman's G-Bombs bars. Had the nuts for chocolate flavor. That's all I have right now. So that's it. And I will be back again tomorrow to read some more out of chapter 1. Good night.